Thanks for joining us on our latest tutorial, the Ripples Galore Afghan. Now, there is a crochet version and a knit version. The step-by-step instructions for the knit version is towards the middle of this video. This pattern was designed using Ultra Mellospun DK. You can purchase the kit or the pattern using the links in the description of this video. The ripple technique is easy to identify by its often sharp peaks and valleys. The motion in these stitches is created by increasing and decreasing stitches. This differs from other patterns which use a scallop or a shell stitch to create movement in a design. Here you can see the decrease, which creates the valley of the stitches, and then over here is where you see the increase, which creates the peak in the stitches. When working a ripple, it's very important to count your stitches. It's important to count your stitches in every piece that you work, but it is especially important when working a ripple. To really show you the difference, and because we began with a dark yarn, what we did is, to start this project, we only used visual cues to show us where the peaks and valleys are. And you can see, especially here on the edge, where our stitches are off. So when you only use visual cues, what you'll notice is your peaks don't line up and your valleys don't line up. This severely affects the quality of your work. So it's very important to make sure that you count your stitches between each peak and each valley. If you start looking into the gray and the white, you can really see where the quality of our work improves because we made sure to count those stitches. And when you're putting so much time into a project, you really want your quality and your hard work to show. At the end of this video, we're going to show you different variations of ripple patterns, but for right now, let's get started with crocheting the Ripples Galore pattern. Again, you can download the pattern or purchase the kit by using the links in the description of this video. Using your first color, chain 235 stitches. Row 1. Single crochet in the second chain from the hook. Then single crochet in the next chain. Skip the next chain. At the beginning of a repeat, we're going to single crochet in each of the next 10 chains. 3 single crochet in the next chain. 2 of these stitches are going to compensate for the stitches lost in your valley, and 1 will be your peak. Single crochet in each of the next 10 stitches. Skip 2 chains. Now repeat from bracket to bracket 9 times. After you finish your repeats, you're going to single crochet in the next 10 chains. Then 3 single crochet in the next chain. Then single crochet in each of the next 10 chains. Complete row 1 by skipping 1 chain and then single crochet in each of the last 2 chains. Row 1 is complete. Row 2 begins with a chain 1. We missed this on the video, so make sure you complete it before you turn your work. Now single crochet through both loops of the first 2 stitches. The Ripples Galore pattern is mostly worked by single crocheting in the back loop only, except for the first 2 and the last 2 stitches of each row. Now skip the next single crochet. You only need to skip 1 because there's only 1 peak to worry about. Now single crochet in the next 10 stitches through the back loop only. This gives a really nice ridging texture. Remember to count your stitches. I like to count my stitches between each peak and valley. 3 single crochet in the next single crochet. This gives an increase on both sides of the peak. Single crochet in each of the next 10 single crochets through the back loop only. Skip the next 2 single crochets. The reason why we're skipping 2 is because we just increased as we were working down the last peak, and we're going to increase before we meet the next one. Repeat from bracket to bracket 9 times. Single crochet in each of the next 10 single crochets through the back loop only. Remember to count your stitches between each peak and valley. 3 single crochet in the next single crochet, and then single crochet in each of the next 10 stitches through the back loop only. Finish your row by skipping the next single crochet and then single crocheting in each of the last 2 single crochets through both loops. This is such a great beginner pattern. What I love about this pattern is that it creates good habits. If you don't cut your stitches right, your patterns will be off. Your increases are very simple. It's just a nice pattern repeat. You can use this video to make your own Ripples Galore Afghan, but I highly recommend that you download the pattern or purchase the kit. To crochet the full version, it's just a repeat of row 2 until you have 8 rows of color. This is the knit version. The knit version is also included when you download the Ripples Galore pattern, and it uses the same techniques. You're going to see the increases and the decreases to create this nice ripple shape. The knit version was also designed to use Mary Maxim Ultra Mellow Spun DK. We chose colors lime, white, and melon. Now the lime is a little bit brighter, but we did have to dim it down for the purpose of this video. Now this is a small swatch of the larger Afghan that I'm about to make. What I love about knitting is I can pull out my needles, keep the old circular on, and make a little swatch before I get started. We're using a size 8 36-inch circular needle, and you're going to cast on 227 stitches and work back and forth on the needle. Begin row 1. Now I tend to cast on a little tight, so you might see some tight stitches in here. Begin with a knit 1 and then knit 2 together. This is your first decrease. And then you're going to knit 10. Again, remember to count your stitches between each peak and valley. For your first increase, you're going to yarn over, knit 1, and then yarn over. Now knit 10. Knit 2 together and repeat from the star to the last stitch. The last stitch of this row is a knit 1. Begin row 2. Row 2, you're going to purl all the way across your work. With row 2 finished, you're just starting to see the ripple pattern get to work. Now it does take a couple of rows, so don't be concerned if you're not seeing the classic ripple yet. Begin row 3. In row 3, you're going to knit across. Repeat these 3 rows 3 more times. Now there are 12 rows in each color. One thing I really like about the ripple pattern is it's a great way to customize your work. We could do a slightly larger lime, a slightly smaller white, and a really big melon color to make it really look like a watermelon. But you see how these all kind of stack on top of each other to give it this great rippled texture. To complete the pattern as written, you're going to repeat these 3 rows of the pattern until you have 12 rows in each color and until your work reaches about 57 inches. Take a look at these other ripple patterns from Mary Maxim. The Sandstone Ripple Afghan, the Subtle Ripple Afghan, the Baby Chevron Blanket, the Sparkling Waves of Color blanket. Find the link to our blog post on ripple patterns in the description of this video, and follow us on our other social media profiles. Happy crafting!